Going to be looking at Psalm 31, if you would please turn there. Motherhood. Motherhood. I heard it said one time, and it's so true. Motherhood can be very grinding. Laundry, ironing, folding, cleaning, shopping, cooking, carpooling, refereeing, coaching, encouraging, cop, judge, you name it. You name it. Then that's only part of it. I saw a cartoon with a little boy in his pajamas, and they're halfway unsnapped, and he's sitting there with holding the stuffed animal in his arm in the hallway of the house, and he's getting ready to knock on the door of his mom and dad's bedroom, and he sees a sign that says, sign that was written by a very weary mother, closed for business today, motherhood out of order. Some days it has to, remember old Chirpy? I talked about to you one time about Chirpy. Some of you don't remember that, but maybe some days for your mother it's like old Chirpy, the parakeet. This woman took good care of the parakeet, and one day she was cleaning the cage and the telephone rang, and she picked up the phone, was talking, and she had the hose in the other hand. She was talking, all of a sudden, there goes Chirpy inside the vacuum cleaner. So she sucks Chirpy up into the bag of the vacuum cleaner. So she's, I got to get off the phone. Got to get my bird. So she gets in there and she takes the bag open and she finds old Chirpy still breathing, all filthy, and so she takes him underneath the spigot and turns the spigot on full blast, and she's trying to clean Chirpy and all this stuff, and she tries to get him all clean, and then she takes a blow dryer trying to dry him off, and then somebody asked her one day, well, how she was talking to him on the phone and said, how's your bird? How's Chirpy? Well, I guess he's okay, but he doesn't say much anymore. All he does is sit there and stare at me. I'm sure you mothers have had a lot of days like that. Just this morning, I saw a little thing, Motherhood Incorporated, and this lady sitting at the resource department of Motherhood Incorporated, and she got a contract in front of her, in her hands in front of her, and she looks at the contract and she says, only one vacation day a year? And the resource person said, yes, and that's Mother's Day, but technically you still have to work. So, and then there's a job description of a mother. Listen to this. Position opening, job description for a mother. Long-term team players needed for challenging permanent work in an often chaotic environment. Candidates must possess excellent communication and organizational skills and be willing to work variable hours, which will include evenings and weekends and frequent 24-hour shifts on call. Some overnight travel required, including trips to primitive camping sites on rainy weekends and endless sports tournaments in faraway cities. Travel expenses not reimbursed. Extensive courier duties also required. Responsibilities. The rest of your life must be willing to be hated at least temporarily until somebody needs $5. I like that. Must be willing to bite tongue repeatedly. Also must possess the physical stamina of a pack mule and be able to go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat in case this time the screams from the backyard are not someone just crying wolf. Must be willing to face stimulating technical challenges such as a small gadget repair, mysteriously sluggish toilets, and stuck zippers. Must screen phone calls, maintain calendars, coordinate production of multiple homework projects. Must have the ability to plan and organize social gatherings for clients of all ages and mental outlooks. Must be willing to be indispensable 1 minute and embarrassment the next. Must handle assembly and product safety testing of 500,000 cheap plastic toys and battery-operated devices. Must always hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. Must assume final complete accountability for the quality of the end product. Responsibilities also include floor maintenance and janitorial work throughout the facility. Possibility for advancement and promotion, virtually none. Your job is to remain in the same position for years without complaining, constantly refraining and updating your skills so that those close in your charge can ultimately surpass you. Previous experience, none required, unfortunately. On-the-job training offered on a continually exhaustive basis. Wages and compensation. Get this, you pay them. Offering frequent raises and bonuses. A balloon payment is due when they turn 18 of the assumption that college will help them somehow become financially independent. When you die, you give them whatever is left. The oddest thing about this reverse salary scheme is that you actually enjoy it and wish you could only do more. Benefits. While no health or dental insurance, no pension, no tuition reimbursement, no paid holidays, and no stock options are offered, this job supplies limitless opportunities for personal growth and free hugs for life if you play your cards right. If you job description. In Proverbs 31, we have here words that are written to women and words that God says to a godly woman. The final chapter of Proverbs is devoted, in the last part, from verse 10 to 31, is devoted to giving us a portrait of a godly woman. Whether she be married, whether she be with child, whether she be without child, whether she be single, whatever it may be. But it's amazing how this serves as a climax to the book of wisdom. To the book of wisdom. From verse 10 to 31, you have 22 verses. In the original Hebrew, as some of you may know, they're written in form of an acrostic. Each verse in the Hebrew text begins with a different letter of the Hebrew alphabet, beginning with Aleph, Beth, Gimel, from all the way from Aleph to Tau, the 22 Hebrew letters. So each verse begins, verse 10 with Aleph, verse 11 with Beth, verse 12 Gimel, and so forth, all the way to Tau in the original Hebrew. This was done, I think, for easy recital, memorization purposes. It is my understanding that, and probably still even in some homes, but in Jewish homes for years, hundreds of years, that these verses, again, they were known, but they were recited at Sabbath tables in the households, in the Jewish homes. This allowed mothers to teach their children about the virtues of a godly woman. Also, we'll begin in verse 10, but look back at verse 1. The words of King Lemuel. That has been highly questioned and studied by many, many scholars. King Lemuel, who was recalling words that came from his mother. The identity of King Lemuel is not known for sure. However, most scholars agree that this was kind of a pet name for Solomon, a pseudonym for Solomon himself. The name Lemuel means devoted to God, belonging to God. If this is the case, these words came from the lips of Bathsheba. Bathsheba, who was Solomon's mother. She's given a bad rap. So many jokes made about young ladies being Bathsheba. Yes, who made a mistake. But someone who in doubt turned her life around. And she gives these words to her son, Solomon. Solomon. You look at verse 10. It begins here with God's affirming respect for a godly woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find an excellent wife? Some translations. An excellent wife, who can find? Who can find? This person is rare. A godly woman is rare. Who can find? One translation has excellent. The word excellent means strength. Who can find a wife of noble character? I think the NIV says. The implication throughout whatever translation you have, the implication is that this woman is rare. Godly woman is rare. Who can find someone with such magnificent qualities? And then the last part of it, you see her worth in God's eyes. For her price is far above rubies. Her price is far above jewels. She's valuable. Her influence is valuable. Her rarity makes her invaluable. Who can find? A virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. And then verse 11, you have this woman in relation to the husband. This is to the ones who are married. Again, these verses, I think, address married, not married, with kids, without kids. Talking about a godly woman. A godly woman. But her role as a wife, look at verse 11. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that she have no need of spoil. Verse 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She is a devoted wife. He trusts her. It says there that there's no need of spoil. In other words, he will have no lack of gain, we're told. He has complete confidence in her. He values her judgments. She meets his needs. She helps him. Verse 12 tells me there that she affirms him. She is in his corner, so to speak. Look down at verse 23. Look at verse 23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. In other words, he is influenced by her. It enhances his influence. She enhances his reputation. She helps him earn respect in the community. She helps him earn respect in his profession, with his friends. And she does this by her godliness. I think it's in Proverbs 12:4. It says, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband. Look down at verse 29. 28. Look at 28. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also. And he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Her husband is impressed by this woman. He has confidence in her. He values her. She is devoted to him. And what about some other qualities of godly woman? Look back at verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Down at verse 17. Look at verse 17. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. She's very diligent. She's industrious. She has an inner strength about her. She has an inner character about her. She provides, whether it be winter or summer, she provides the needs. She's there. Look at verse 14, another quality of a godly woman. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She rises up also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hand she planteth a vineyard. Look down at verse 24. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. She's efficient. She's confident. She's capable. Productive. Thrifty. Someone who goes and hunts for bargains. And guys, you know that is so true of a godly woman. And I like it at the end of verse 15. She has servants, Nancy, but look what it says. She giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. That tells me that she has a servant's heart. She's a servant. She's a servant. Her role is a servant. Down at verse 19. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. Verse 26, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is a law of kindness. Do you see that? Compassion. Compassion. Verse 21, she's not afraid of the snow for her household are clothed with scarlet. In other words, if the weather is cold, she's prepared. If the weather is hot, she's prepared. You know any moms like that? My kids know a mom like that. To this day. And they're not even in the house. To this day. Wearing your sunscreen. You got your gloves. You got your hat. I'm going to the ball game, Mom. Take you to the ball game. It's going to be cold. Do this, do that. Compassion. And we're told that her lamp does not go out. She reaches out to the needy. And her lamp does not go out. You know what this tells me about this godly woman? And this is so important because when you remember the context in which this is written, and the time this is written, in homes at this time, if a light was left on throughout the night, it meant that home was a safe haven. It was a safe haven. In other words, she leaves the candle lit at night to the distressed, to that one who might need help, to say, we are there for you. We are there for you. This is a godly woman. In verse 26, there's wisdom in her words. Beauty? Yeah, look at verse 22. She maketh herself covering of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Verse 25, strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. In other words, you see this woman's dignity. There is beauty not only on the outside, but also, and she does everything she can to make herself look nice on the outside, but there's beauty inside. There's beauty inside and beauty outside. Verse 27, she looketh well to the ways of the household and eateth not the bread of idleness. She is dedicated to the family. She's unselfish. She meets the family's needs no matter how long it may take. If she's up after everyone goes to bed, and most of the time she is, and a lot of times she's up before anybody else gets up. Yeah, she finds times to relax, yes, but she's not unselfish with her time. She's not unselfish with her time. Look at verse 28 as I close. Her children rise up and call her blessed, and her husband also, he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But look at this. But a woman that feareth the Lord, a woman who has tremendous respect for the Lord, a woman who is in awe of the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and her own works praise her in the gates. She fears the Lord. She walks with God. She has tremendous reverence for God. She holds God in highest regards. There you sense with this woman, there is a close relationship with God. And that's the portrait of a godly woman. Let me close with this. A godly mother is a treasure, a gift more precious than gold. Her children rise up and call her blessed, and in high esteem do hold. Her love is like that of our Savior, who sacrificed his own life, that we might live joyful, godly lives in a troubled world of strife. Her heart is like his, holding us close no matter how far we roam, and her arms are wide open to forgive and welcome home. Her hands are busy molding our lives from the moment we are born, planting seeds, loving, disciplining, even when weary and worn. Her feet are always careful to go where her child can follow there. How could we thank our mother enough for her tender, loving care? A godly mother fervently prays for that child she loves so much, for she knows the fruit of her vineyard, and she depends upon the Master's touch. A godly mother. As we close, and we're going to sing a verse or so of closing song. In that poem I just read, it talks about our Father who loves us so much and who cares for us. And he cared so much for you that he sent his Son to die for you. And as this godly woman has done, God is in her life. She walks with him. She's close to him. He is her Lord. I hope and pray that you can say that Jesus is your Lord today. If not, please come. Please come as we sing.